ahead and slip off one sock right now. Just one. Take a close look at the skin where the elastic band pressed against your leg all day. If you notice a visible groove still sitting there, a dent that lingers for 30 seconds, a full minute, sometimes several minutes before the skin gradually levels out again, then I need you to stay with me. Because what you're looking at isn't caused by your socks, it isn't a salt issue, and despite what nearly everyone over 60 has been told by their doctor, in roughly 7 out of 10 cases, it isn't a heart issue either. What you're dealing with is a drainage issue, and the system responsible is one that almost nobody ever took the time to explain to you. Fluid is sitting in your leg at this very moment, perhaps half a liter, perhaps a full liter, quietly pooled in the tissue around your ankle and calf after a day of sitting. And when you lie down tonight, that fluid is going to do something to your body that wrecks your sleep, puts strain on your heart, and speeds up every other health challenge you're already trying to stay on top of. Let me walk you through exactly what's happening inside that ankle right now, and the 5-minute evening habit that clears the fluid out before it becomes a problem. Subscribe to the healthy life we're working toward, 100,000 subscribers, and every person who joins increases the chance that the next person who truly needs this information will actually stumble across it. You know exactly the moment I'm describing. You get home, you kick off your shoes, and there they are. Ankles that look noticeably fuller than they did this morning. Calves that feel heavy and stiff. Rings on your fingers that suddenly won't budge. You push your thumb into the skin just above your ankle bone and watch it leave a pale dent that takes an oddly long time to bounce back. You rise from the couch after sitting for an hour, and your legs feel like they've been packed with sand while you weren't paying attention. And when you bring this up at a medical appointment, what typically happens? Your doctor asks about your heart. You're told to reduce your salt. You walk out with a prescription for a diuretic, a water pill, that has you rushing to the bathroom throughout the day. For some people, that offers mild relief. For the majority of people over 60, it barely makes a dent. The reason? The fluid was never in your bloodstream to begin with. It was sitting in your tissues, and a diuretic simply can't reach tissue fluid. It can only pull water from blood. So the entire time, you've been targeting the wrong compartment. Let me correct that. Your body actually runs 2 entirely separate drainage networks. Most people are only aware of the first one, blood. Arteries push fresh blood outward. Veins carry used blood back. That system has a dedicated pump, your heart. It operates on its own, every moment of every day, without any effort on your part. The second network is called the lymphatic system. And here's what no one ever clearly explained to you. It has no pump. Not one. Zero. Lymph is a pale, clear fluid that constantly seeps out of the tiny blood vessels in your tissues, surrounds your cells, and collects cellular waste, dead bacteria, excess protein, and excess water. It then has to find its way back into the bloodstream through a completely separate network of vessels, lymph capillaries and lymph ducts, about 2 liters of it every single day. But those lymph vessels have nothing driving them. They move only when your body moves. Picture your lymph system as a conveyor belt that only switches on when you activate it. Every step you take, every time your calf muscles engage, every time your ankle bends and straightens, those lymph vessels get squeezed and the fluid gets pushed upward. Stop moving and the belt goes still. Sit for 3 hours and the entire system essentially shuts down. Fluid just collects in your ankles, going nowhere. When you're 30, this isn't much of a concern. The lymph vessels are supple. The valves inside them are firm and responsive. A short stroll across a parking lot gets the whole system going again within minutes. But past 60, 3 things shift simultaneously. The lymph vessels grow stiffer, the valves start to lose their seal, and the connective tissue around the ankles, the loose supportive matrix that holds everything in proper position, starts losing its own ability to spring back. So fluid seeps out faster than before, while the system drains it more slowly than before. The math stops adding up, and the reservoir keeps growing. Before we go any further, I need to stop and draw a very clear boundary. There are circumstances where ankle swelling is not a lymphatic issue. It's a genuine medical emergency. You need to recognize these warning signs, pause this video immediately, and get medical attention today if any of the following apply to you. One leg swells dramatically more than the other over just a few hours, and it's tender, warm to the touch, and red. That may indicate a deep vein blood clot, which is serious. Go get checked today. Both legs are swelling and you're having difficulty breathing, particularly when lying down. You wake up gasping, or you can't climb a flight of stairs without stopping. That pattern points to significant heart strain that goes beyond what a home routine can address. Swelling, combined with sudden weight gain of 4 to 5 pounds within a single week, along with foamy-looking urine, suggests your kidneys may be leaking protein. That needs lab work this week, not eventually. Swelling on just one side, painless, firm to the touch, in someone with a history of cancer treatment in that area. That may signal lymph node blockage that requires a professional evaluation. If none of those fit your situation, if your swelling builds gradually, affects both legs equally, worsens through the day, and largely resolves overnight, and you have no breathing difficulty at rest, then what I'm about to share is specifically relevant to you. When it comes to chronic lower leg swelling in people over 60, there are essentially 3 patterns. They can look nearly identical from the outside, but they have completely different root causes. Pattern 1 is venous. Your veins are struggling to move blood back up to the heart. The valves inside the veins have weakened. Blood pools, pressure climbs, and water gets pushed out through the vessel walls. You'll typically see visible varicose veins, a brownish tint to the skin on your shin just above the ankle, and swelling that becomes dramatically worse after a full day on your feet. Pattern 2 is lymphatic, and this is what we're digging into today. Lymph flow has slowed down, leaving the tissue waterlogged. The swelling is soft, leaves a pit when pressed, feels puffy rather than taut, and commonly extends to the top of the foot, the area just behind the toes. When lymphatic swelling has been present for years, the skin across the top of the foot thickens to the point where you simply cannot pinch it between your fingers. That is a recognized clinical indicator, and it points firmly toward lymph, not veins. Pattern 3 is cardiac or renal. Your heart or kidneys are struggling to regulate fluid. The swelling is symmetrical, worsens as the day goes on, and critically, it comes with additional symptoms: difficulty catching your breath, waking repeatedly during the night to urinate, deep exhaustion, and rapid weight gain. If those symptoms accompany your swelling, you're in pattern 3, and this is not something to address with a home routine. You need a proper medical evaluation. The majority of people over 60 dealing with chronic evening ankle swelling and no other accompanying symptoms fall into pattern 2, lymphatic. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Dorothy. 68 years old, a retired school teacher who had lived in the same house for 3 decades. She came into the clinic convinced her heart was beginning to fail. Her account went like this. For 2 years, her ankles had been thickening by evening, at first barely noticeable, then enough that her usual shoes no longer fit. She bought wider pairs. The swelling continued to worsen. She brought it up at a routine checkup, and an echocardiogram was ordered. Her heart looked perfectly normal. Her ejection fraction, the percentage of blood pumped out with each heartbeat, was 62%, solidly within the healthy range. But Dorothy was still swelling. A diuretic was prescribed. She took it faithfully for 6 months. She spent the day running to the bathroom, felt drained and dehydrated, and her ankles were barely any different. Then she said one thing that changed the entire picture. The strange thing is, when I travel and I'm walking around all day, my ankles actually look better. That was the key. Her swelling improved with movement. It worsened with prolonged sitting. Her heart was fine. Her kidneys were fine. Her veins on ultrasound showed only the kind of mild changes that come with age. What Dorothy had was a lymphatic drainage problem, one that no medication could resolve, because the fluid wasn't circulating in her blood. It was trapped in her tissue. Here's what Dorothy's body goes through every single day, and quite possibly what yours goes through too. She wakes up. Her ankles look slim. She's been lying flat for 8 hours. Gravity wasn't pushing fluid down into her legs, and her lymph system had the entire night to mostly clear out the previous day's buildup. By morning, she's nearly back to where she started. She gets up, eats breakfast, settles at the kitchen table for an hour, rides in the car for 20 minutes, sits at her volunteer station for 3 hours, has lunch, sits again. By 2 in the afternoon, she's been upright, but almost completely still for 7 hours. The entire time, fluid has been slowly trickling from her capillaries into the tissue of her lower legs. Her calf muscles have barely engaged. The lymph conveyor belt has barely moved. The fluid has been accumulating quietly, a teaspoon at a time, into a reservoir she cannot see. By evening, the sock indent appears. By 9 o'clock, her ring feels tight. By 10, she lies down, and the real problem kicks in. All that fluid that spent the day pooling in her ankles, now that gravity is no longer holding it down there, starts slowly seeping back into her bloodstream. Her heart receives a sudden and unexpected surge of volume. Her kidneys detect the excess and go into overdrive, producing urine. She wakes at 2 in the morning, then 4, then 5. By 6, she's worn out, and the whole cycle starts over. 2 quick assessments, 30 seconds total, right now. Assessment 1. The pit test. Locate the ridge of bone running along the front of your shin, about 4 inches above your ankle. Press your thumb in firmly. Hold it there for 15 seconds. Release and observe. If a visible indentation remains that takes 10 seconds or longer to smooth out, you have what clinicians refer to as pitting edema. Grade 1 is a shallow dent. Grade 2 is a deeper one that persists longer. Grade 3 is a pronounced dent lasting over a minute. Note your grade. Come back and repeat this test in 2 weeks after following the protocol. The change will be something you can actually measure. Assessment 2. The foot skin pinch. Try to lift the skin on the top of your foot, just behind your second toe, between your thumb and forefinger. If you can easily gather the skin into a small fold, your lymph is moving adequately. If the skin feels fused to the tissue underneath and simply won't lift, you're dealing with more advanced lymphatic congestion. This is known as a positive Stemmer sign, and it's one of the most straightforward clinical indicators of chronic lymph saturation that exists. 3 habits that worsen lymphatic swelling, and most people over 60 do all 3 every single day without realizing it. The first is hidden sodium, not what you're sprinkling from the salt shaker, the sodium that's already built into your food. Cheese, deli meats, canned soups, bread, sauces and condiments, restaurant dishes, frozen meals. Sodium draws water out of your bloodstream and deposits it into your tissues. Your body will retain roughly 4 cups of water for every extra gram of sodium it takes in. Most Americans over 60 consume roughly twice the sodium they believe they do. The second is sitting still after dinner. The stretch of time between 7 and 10 in the evening, when you finally settle into your recliner to relax, is precisely when your legs accumulate the most fluid. 3 hours of immobility following your biggest meal of the day creates the worst possible setup for overnight fluid reabsorption. The third is alcohol. Even a single glass of wine in the evening dilates your capillaries, increases the rate at which fluid leaks from your vessels into surrounding tissue, and suppresses the hormone your brain uses to signal your kidneys to ease off overnight. 1 drink and your ankles will be measurably worse come morning. Now the other side, what actively supports lymph flow? Water. This one surprises people. Most individuals dealing with swelling start drinking less water, reasoning that more fluid means more swelling. It actually works in reverse. Dehydration makes lymph thick and sluggish, harder for the body to move. A properly hydrated body keeps lymph thin and free-flowing. Aim for approximately half your body weight in ounces each day, distributed throughout the day, and taper off after 5 in the afternoon. Foods rich in natural flavonoids, compounds that reinforce the walls of small blood vessels and reduce fluid leakage. The richest sources are dark-colored berries, buckwheat, citrus peel, and red cabbage. A cup of berries daily has a measurable effect on capillary integrity over roughly 8 weeks. Protein. This one catches people off guard. Low blood protein, specifically low albumin, is one of the quiet drivers of tissue swelling in older adults. Albumin is the protein that keeps water anchored inside your blood vessels. When it drops, water seeps out into the surrounding tissue and stagnates there. A surprising number of older adults have mild protein deficiency without knowing it. 2 servings of quality protein per day, eggs, fish, chicken, lentils, cottage cheese, directly improves the way your body handles fluid balance. Magnesium, which is deficient in the majority of people over 60, plays a role in smooth muscle tone, including the walls of lymph vessels. Pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, and almonds are among the easiest food sources to incorporate. Now, the 5-minute nightly habit that drains your ankles before you sleep. This is the heart of everything. Pay close attention because every step has a purpose. In the morning, before your feet touch the floor, while you're still flat in bed, perform 30 ankle pumps. Point your toes downward, then pull them back up toward your face. 30 repetitions. It takes about 45 seconds. This restarts lymph flow after 8 hours of inactivity and keeps fluid from rushing straight down into your lower legs the moment you stand up. During the day, every hour you spend sitting, do 20 calf pumps. Heels resting on the floor, press your toes upward and back down. Or, if you're able to stand, rise onto the balls of your feet and lower back down 20 times, 30 seconds. It keeps the conveyor belt running through the day so fluid doesn't get the opportunity to accumulate. Set a recurring reminder on your phone if that helps. Before dinner, take a 5-minute easy walk. Not exercise, just movement. Around the block, through the house, out into the yard. Walking engages the deep calf muscles in a way that seated pumps simply can't replicate. In the evening, 90 minutes before bed, this is the most important step of the whole sequence. Lie on the floor or on your bed. Rest your legs straight up against the wall at roughly a 90-degree angle. Heels higher than hips, hips higher than heart. Remain there for 15 minutes. While you're there, do slow ankle circles, 10 in each direction. Then alternating ankle flexes, 20 repetitions. Then, while still elevated, place both hands flat across your abdomen and breathe deeply in through your nose, letting your belly rise for 3 minutes. Slow, deliberate belly breathing activates the thoracic duct, the primary drainage vessel of your entire lymphatic system, which runs directly behind your diaphragm. Each deep breath you take is literally pumping your lymph. After those 15 minutes, slowly roll to your side, come up to sitting, and do something that isn't glamorous but genuinely works. Starting at the ankle, use the flat of your fingers to stroke the skin upward toward the knee. Slow, steady, always moving toward the heart, never downward, 10 strokes per leg. This is a simplified version of what's called manual lymphatic drainage, and it physically moves fluid from the saturated tissue into the lymph capillaries. Shortly after finishing this sequence, you'll feel the urge to urinate. You'll pass roughly 300 to 400 milliliters of pale dilute urine. That is the fluid that would otherwise have pulled you out of a deep sleep at 2 in the morning. You've just drained it while you were awake and in control of it. Dorothy followed this protocol for 3 weeks. By the end of the first week, her sock marks were gone by morning. By the end of the second week, she was sleeping straight through the night. By the end of the third week, her ankles at 9 in the evening looked the way they used to look at 9 in the morning. Her echocardiogram hadn't changed. Her prescriptions hadn't changed. What had changed was that her lymphatic system was finally getting what it needed, on a schedule that worked with her life, instead of being left to scramble in the middle of the night while she was supposed to be resting. 5 things to do starting tonight. 1. Do the PIT test right now. Establish your grade. Write it down somewhere. 2. Cut one source of hidden sodium tomorrow. The biggest offenders for most people are cheese, deli meats, and canned soups. Pick the one you rely on most and swap it out for 2 weeks. 3. Before dinner tonight, take a 5-minute walk. Not after dinner, not later, before. 4. 90 minutes before bed, legs up the wall for 15 minutes. Deep belly breathing for 3 of those minutes. 10 upward strokes along each calf when you come down. 5. Tomorrow morning, 30 ankle pumps before your feet leave the bed. Follow this for 2 weeks. Retest the PIT test. The difference will catch you off guard. One last thing, Socham. Before you go, I'd love to know 2 things. How old are you? Drop your age in the comments. The age range of this audience genuinely informs which topics I cover next. Right now, it looks like the majority of viewers are somewhere between 60 and 75. And second, where are you watching from? Your city, your state, your country. Leave it below. I want to see how widely this is reaching because it shapes my understanding of who most needs this kind of content. And if there is someone in your life whose ankles swell by evening, please pass this along to them. Chances are they've been told it's their heart. Chances are they've been given a pill that doesn't touch the actual problem. You might be the one who finally gives them the explanation nobody else ever bothered to offer. Your ankles are not letting you down. They're part of a drainage system that simply stopped receiving the signals it needs to do its job. Give it 5 minutes a day, and the results aren't subtle. They show up in the mirror. You feel them in your shoes. And you notice them the first morning you wake up without pressing your thumb into your leg to check.